Hello, everyone. Welcome to Move Abroad Monday. So today I'm going to talk about something I don't really hear a lot of people talk about too much, and I think that we should talk about it a lot more. So oftentimes we talk about like choosing a country, visas, jobs, housing, school, all the important things. But there is this entire like season of the journey of moving abroad that doesn't really get a whole lot of attention. And that's like the months before you actually leave, which is where I am right now. So we are getting closer to our move abroad, close enough where it's feeling very real, but not close enough where everything is finalized and packed and we're leaving like right now. So there's this weird like limbo of like normal life, but also preparing to leave. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And if you are here for the first time, thank you for joining. I am Dr. Raquel. Between my husband and I, we have lived in 5 different countries around the world. And this time we have Mexican residency, and we are going to talk to you about our current process of moving abroad. We've never moved abroad with kids before. And so we are talking about all the things as we are living it. So it's so good to see you here today. And so what I mean by this like combo of normal life and also preparation to go abroad is like I'm still taking my kids to school. I am still managing my business. I still have appointments. I'm still getting together for coffee. Pretty much doing all the things that I have always done. But underneath all of these things is this like constant mental note that I am about to be out of here. And this current phase of life is about to be over. And it's not tomorrow, it's not next week, but it is very soon. So, in like the next few months. And so, I've just been thinking a lot about what it means to kind of be in this in-between space because it's very different, especially like with kids. I think because we haven't done this before with kids, now that we're doing with this with kids, it's making me much more like nostalgic. Like I want them to have certain experiences. Um, it's less like excitement and more like responsibility or intentionality. So there's definitely much more like, okay, I need to figure out what I'm feeling, what they're feeling. How do we talk about what we're feeling to make sure, like, we know kind of what they're experiencing, what they're going through. Some days I'm like super excited, like, yes, new adventure, new opportunities, we're about to be out. And I can hardly wait. And then there are other days where it's like, okay, this is such a wonderful piece of our life right now. I just want to like hold on to this moment or making a new friend or conversations or people that like I'm suddenly connecting to that I haven't connected to as deeply as meaningfully before. Or just even driving through places where I'm like, ah, I love this park. There's one park that's near my house and I'm like, I really love this place. Or, people who are in my kids' lives who love my kids, who pour into my kids, that I'm like, I'm so grateful that they have you. And I just want to figure out how do we continue building that and nurturing that from afar. And even like thinking through, okay, there are certain people I want us to just start like zooming in the more near future because I want us to just have this habit of like the Zoom conversations and the Zoom relationship building so that it's not something that's totally new while we're somewhere else. And these are things that really, before moving abroad, is like, you just kind of take it for granted. But I really think that that's one of the more unexpected blessings of this process is that for me anyway, like when I know change is coming, I start paying attention differently and I started to notice things differently. And it makes me much more present and like grateful for the moments in the present. And even like with my parents, they're starting to be like, well, I don't have a lot of time, so I want to make sure like I instill this in the kids before they go. And so it's like even life, like you're preparing for life to leave in a brand new way, and like once I started realizing like, okay, moving abroad is not, you don't start the move once you're there. You don't even start the move like once you're in the airport, once you're packed and ready to go. It starts like long before that, mentally. It starts with like the conversations that you're having a year before when you know, like, okay, we have residency, or like 6 months before, okay, we're leaving. It starts in all the decisions. I've spoken previously about like just going to the store is different because usually I'd be like, okay, I want this would be cool for the kitchen, this would be cool, whatever. But now it's like, I don't need that. I'm not even gonna live in that house. So no, thank you. I'm not buying that. Or like forcing myself to be on like a super strict budget because I'm like, if I'm on this budget, then I won't buy any foolery that I really don't need. I feel like too, with that mindset, it just comes with like starting to let go. And I don't mean let go in like a sad way. It is very sad and it is very happy all at the same time. Like I'm emotional, period. Um, but it also means like letting go and to create space for this next new chapter. Um, so, when you're figuring out so many things about moving abroad, it can just be very consuming about like the destination. Okay, where will we live? What do we want this life to look like? How will it be different? How will it be the same? What opportunities do we have? But now, like being in the midst of the transition is much more about like the process than it is about the location. So the location is like one piece of it. And each location brings different things. And so it's less about the location, but like who am I becoming in this process of the letting go, of the moving, of the transition? And I think that that's something that we just don't talk about enough. When I hear people talking about moving abroad, most of the time it is the logistics. But even like once you figure out, okay, this is where I want to be, this is what I need to do, then that immediately starts the other piece of it, which is the letting go and the mental preparation to move abroad. And for myself, one thing I think I have learned the most in this phase of move abroad is to become much more comfortable with uncertainty. So I am definitely your plan ABC girly over here, okay? I have a plan and then a backup plan. I have been packed for my move abroad for at least 4 months, okay? And so the rest of what I've been doing is just getting rid of all the things that I am not bringing with me. And so, I am a planner. For any of you who are familiar with Clifton Strengths, I am futuristic number 2. So I'm always thinking about the future and planning for the future and preparing for the future, period. Um, and this process has really forced me to make decisions before I've had all the answers. It's forced me to trust myself. It's forced me to trust in God. It's forced me to stay flexible in a way that is very uncomfortable for me. Um, all while holding on to this like vision of the future, but also being fully engaged with my now. And for me, that is super challenging because I am such a futuristic thinker. I'm usually not really holding on to the present too much. And so I've really been asking myself a lot of questions lately, like not logistical, because I know this type A is going to have all of the logistical questions and answers done, but more like life questions, like, okay, what do I want to experience now before we leave? I have our list of things that we made some time back, but even some time back, I was in a different mental state. And so now it was like, okay, these are the spots we want to hit. But now it's less of like the spots we want to hit and what do we want to experience. And like, who do I want to spend time with, which is everyone. So that's obviously not possible. So that means that I need to be able to figure out, okay, are we having like one big Zoom party in addition to like an in-person for like the local people? When will that happen? Because we also have zero time trying to do all the things. What conversations do I want to have with people? What memories do I want to create with my kids? What do I want all of us to like remember about this season of our move abroad? Because I know years from now, especially my children are not going to be like, oh, yeah, we did all of that piece of paperwork. They don't know. They don't know anything. They won't remember everything that we packed. They will not remember half of what I'm doing right now. But they will remember the moments, they will remember the people, they'll remember how they felt. And that realization has forced me to slow down, to be much more present. And at least for me, like sometimes when I'm pushing towards this big goal, it's so easy to get focused on, okay, what needs to happen now to make that big goal happen, that I can stop appreciating. And so at least for me, like when I have this big goal in my mind, I can get so focused on what has to happen next for that that just start living in the future, you know? And so I am forcing myself to remember that life is happening right now too. And I'm excited about what's ahead. I'm excited about the next chapter, but I also don't want to like rush through right now because I'm excited about what the future holds. And I can do both of those things. I can be ready for change and I can still honor the life that I built right here, and not rush towards it, not just kind of brush over what's happening now. And so, if you're listening to this and you are planning your own move abroad or thinking about it, I just want to encourage you to lean into all of the phases of the journey, not just the destination, the logistics, the planning, but pay attention to who you are becoming, what you are prioritizing that might be different over the course of this process. Because one day, this season too will be a part of your story. And so, some of the most meaningful pieces I feel like are happening right now. And so, thank you again for joining me for this week's Move Abroad Monday. As always, I am just super grateful that you're here and that we're talking about this together. And I will see you all next Monday. Bye.